have a special guest. His name is Michael Daniels. Michael might not be a household name, but his app, Fayr, spelled F-A-Y-R, is something that we're going to get to know because it's a groundbreaking app for divorced parents. Why? Because it was featured in the Apple reality series Planet of the Apps. Okay. So it's available, the first originally scripted show on Apple Music. Michael Daniels is the groundbreaking app that simplifies everyday matters for divorced parents. And it was recently featured on the July 25th episode of the Apple reality tech series, Planet of the Apps, and secured Academy Award-winning actress and successful entrepreneur Gwyneth Paltrow as a mentor/advisor. So with that, we'd like to introduce Michael Daniels. Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Everyone, thanks for having me very much. It's an honor to be here.
Welcome. Wonderful, wonderful. So I guess, Michael, as I've stated before offline, I want to thank your PR group. We kind of slugged through a couple of things to get you scheduled. I know you are high in demand, so we won't take up too much of your time. If you could tell us what inspired you to develop the Fayr app.
You know, honestly, I think a lot of people could relate to my experience. I don't think there's anything unique about my experience, but I just chose to try to find a better way to do it. I've been divorced for 8 years, and, the family courts are backed up anywhere between 1 and 3 years in some counties. Mine took 2 years, and during those 2 years, there's the painstaking chores of having to reconcile with logs every night for time sharing while you're waiting for a judgment by the judge as far as what it's going to be. And so during that 2 years, you're having to save receipts, doctor visits, dentist visits, bank statements, insurance statements. You're having to, again, reconcile these logs, comb through text messages, screenshot them, put them on, you have to print them out. Then you have to give them to your lawyer's office, and the paralegal then charges you $125 an hour to photocopy them and put them in a court-ready document. And it's just all of the escalating things that happen really because of, miscommunication, disagreements, and this sort of thing. And I just felt like, if there were 4 features that could exist in one app for 2 people to use, because let's face it, there's no other area of life that you are in a civil lawsuit with another human being and you have to communicate with them daily. There's just no other area of life like this. And so I put together these 4 features, and they are a simple time-sharing calendar, but it really clears the air. The way it works is, it's color-coded. Mom has one day, Dad has another day, another color days, and you just simply click on your day, and if you choose to forfeit the day or trade a day, it's easily done. They immediately get text messages to their phone seeing the request, and if you accept it, it switches to your color. And at any time, you can export a PDF report, and it's all there. You don't have to worry about even going to a lawyer to have these things to be put in this court-ready format. So then the expense tracker is another one. Again, all expenses are very clear. People are great about keeping a mental inventory of their own contributions, but so seldomly do they really think about the contributions being made by the other person. Well, this keeps track of all of that in a very easy-to-see pie chart, as well as you can scroll year-to-date since inception, as well as each month. And then I call it admissible messaging, because lawyers always tell you to communicate via email, because emails are admissible in court and text messages are not. But with this, you have the ease of text messaging with the admissibility of emails. And then the last one is geo-pinpoints, because I can't tell you how many times you have these court-ordered time-sharing schedules, and you show up within your 2-hour window. But let's say the other person's not there, and then you turn around and go home. Well, there's no proof that you were there. Well, with this, you show up, you drop your geo-pinpoint, in the log, and the other person gets the notification immediately showing them that you're there. There you are on the planet right now, and it's indisputable, incontestable, and really mitigates a lot of the problems that flare up, escalate into costly things. So let's face it, our money is much better spent on more noble purposes, like on our children, than it is to be wasted the way it's being wasted in our country. I mean, 60 million people, and I would just like to. I'd just like to see people be able to be the best versions of themselves and not live with the anxiety and the time and money spent.
So that's extremely interesting. I mean, it sounds like you developed and found this app as the answer to a problem, which obviously you yourself and many other people have identified. So since you've done this with the app, you've created the app that answers all these questions, solves these problems. How has your life changed since you developed the app?
Well, I have to tell you, I mean, I developed the app 1 year ago, and I started it. It hasn't. We were beta testing by February, by the time I finished filming Planet of the Apps. And we did a soft launch just right after before the show. We were doing a soft launch, still more testing, because I knew I was going to be featured in the App Store, which got me 27 million hits, which was crazy. And I wanted to make sure that it was going to be properly stress tested, no crashes. So my life has changed in that, I feel very comfortable. I sleep well at night now. I don't worry about my 5 minutes in front of a judge if things flare up. I don't worry about it anymore because I know everything is documented. It can't be challenged anymore, because I can't tell you how frustrating it is when you keep a detailed log on this legal yellow pad of paper, and you show up in court and you say, here it is, and they say, no, he made that up. And truly, anybody could make it up. I mean, that's just, to be fair, anybody could. So I feel great these days. I honestly, and I find that this mitigates a lot of the problems, because it's there for both parents to see, and then you don't have the misunderstandings or just the disagreements anymore.
So I have two questions for you, because it sounds like it's something that's been very beneficial to you. What type of feedback are you getting from the users? And then how does that feedback translate into what is next for your app?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked both those questions. I have some users here locally. I live in Weston, Florida, and these people, I find that some users find some features more beneficial to them than others, given their circumstances. Some people are not responsible for a 50-50 financial split. Some people are. So for those people, it's more of a time-sharing calendar that they don't have to. So many things get slipped in the cracks when you're just communicating on your iOS text messages, and you can't remember, was I supposed to be there on Tuesday or Wednesday at 3:30, or which day was 4:25, and things get really mixed up. But with this, you're able to schedule special events, your time sharing, you're able to put in your notes. I mean, it's you can be as macro level or as micro level as you want to with it. So I find that they are very happy to be using the app, whatever feature they really need it for their specific needs. And as far as how the show, there's so many platforms I'm building out that Gwyneth, frankly, she actually messaged me this morning. As a matter of fact, she's been great, because she gives it a very human element, where she kind of she reproached me and said, there's a lot of againstness in this, and it's true, because I came at this from a position of I'm sick of wasting nearly $60,000 in legal fees, and I wanted to find a way to stop that. I mean, 8 years later, and I'm still in these things. So yeah, I came at it from a different point of view. But what she's introducing to the app is something that promotes more harmony, such as when you receive a message within the app from your ex notifying you about something that they've shown up on time for. They can geo-pinpoint, I just showed up to soccer practice, we're here. If you respond within 10 minutes with one of the preset auto responses that you can select and send, that's saying, hey, good job, or hey, thank you, or something like this. If you do it in a timely fashion, don't leave them out there hanging. By doing that, there's something called your Fayr score. It's kind of like your credit score. It goes up. So you're able to see your analytics at the end of the month will show you, hey, this month, you did great. You were 50-50 in your time sharing. You spent this much money on your kids, and you showed up on time to all these events, and you responded positively to your ex. So it causes that healing to occur. And that's something that Gwyneth really is big on. She actually does a phenomenal job. She says that she and her ex had the best relationship they've ever had. And so that's one thing that she's doing. The other one we're doing is it's called Fayr planning. Most people don't know this, but 68% of parents either have no life insurance for their kids or less than $100,000 in life insurance. And, we all know the loss of a parent in a child's life is a whole lot more than $100,000 over the course of that child's life. And so we're going to offer a way that while you're spending money, you're rounding up to the nearest dollar just to change. And this money is going into paying for life insurance premiums or even prepaid educational funds for your kids that are tax deferred. And both parents are saving up for these things because unfortunately kids from broken homes are far less likely to have these sort of things in existence for them. So that's another thing. And then we're also talking about fair parenting tutorials that when kids reach a certain age, these different periods in their lives, for instance, the terrible twos everybody talks about. Is it really the terrible twos, or are they just becoming self-aware? Is that the age that they start to explore their world? And it's how we relate to them. We want to maximize that opportunity in their lives and our effectiveness as a parent. So we're going to have these fair parenting tutorials within the app. It's kind of like continuing education for the kind of parent you are at each specific stage of their life. And there'll be like a little 5-question retention quiz, and if you answer it all and you pass the quiz, again, your FAIR score goes up. And so it's just about being able to make things better. And then the last thing that she helped me with was the idea we're going to do fair deals. So within the app, you'll have a whole slew of things to help these families that are two-income, two-separate home families save a lot of money for using FAIR. They use FAIR and they have in-app discounts at all kind of popular places you take your kids to play, take your kids to eat, or you just take your kids to learn. It could be publishers' books. All kind of companies are going to advertise their coupons that'll be with you at all times. You don't have to worry about did I bring it or not.
Michael, this is Ted. I have a friend, Rich and I have a friend who lives in North Carolina in the Raleigh-Durham area that could really utilize this application. So what we would need to know is how would we go about purchasing this app? What platforms are it, currently available on? And
well, I'm sorry. Did you go ahead and finish?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Currently, I'm only in iOS, so it's only available for Apple, but it will be in Android by October. So I apologize for that. It's just development takes a long time. It's an annual subscription now of $49.99 a year. So comes out to about a little over $4.12 a month. And yeah, it's spelled again FAYR. The acronym stands obviously without being fair, but it's Family Advocacy is Your Responsibility. FAYR.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's
and
nice.
What's the best ways to follow you on social media? So any of our listeners, after this session, they want to reach out to you, or they want to learn more about the company.
Do. Oh, please do. And again, I'm on it's www.fair.com, and on Twitter, I'm Fair Dad. On Facebook and Instagram, it's Be Fair. Please reach out to me. I'm so open to. I read every one of my customers' emails that they send in. If you have any suggestions on how to make the app better, I love them. I listen to everyone and I implement it when I hear it.
Michael, we want to thank you for this segment and joining our show, taking a few minutes out, and hopefully in the next couple of months we'll touch base again to find out what's next for the FAIR app.
I appreciate it. Thank you all very much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you, Michael. It's been a
All
pleasure.
right. Have a great evening, everyone.
You
Bye.
too.
That was pretty cool.
I like what it stands for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was curious. I was like going on the website, looking it up.
I'd be curious to know what the legal community has had to say about it.
Okay.
We'll get them next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely get it next time. Or, again, you download the app. I'll give it a go for a subscription, and we'll give it to our friend. Or we'll give it to our friend, our mutual friend.
Yes.
See a stream